You have to hand it to the Irish bishops, priests, and religious. It's not an easy task to de-Christianize an entire people, yet they managed within a single generation to overturn 1,500 years of Ireland's religious and social traditions. With those words, Catholic columnist Robert Royle opened his piece acknowledging that Ireland has now adopted same-sex so-called marriage. It wasn't the judges who did this and overcame the will of the people. It wasn't the representatives who didn't represent the people. No, it was the Irish people themselves. Ireland is the first nation in the world to adopt same-sex so-called marriage by popular vote. It gets worse. No political party supported traditional marriage. No public figure of consequence, with the exception of Donna Scanlon, supported traditional marriage. What about the Archbishop? Well, the Archbishop did go on the air and told people he was going to be voting against gay marriage, and he gave some reasons. But he also added that he wouldn't tell anybody else how to vote. And then he added he was a little surprised how odd it was that the young people of Ireland who had attended Catholic schools for 12 years were now in support of homosexual so-called marriage. What did the bishop think? That his schools escaped what American schools didn't? What makes him think that Irish schools were teaching the faith to these students? We know in America that for a generation they largely weren't teaching the faith. Was Ireland any different? I had breakfast with a priest friend of mine years ago, just after he had walked through his parish school asking some catechetical questions. He was mortified. He was shocked. The young people at this school did not believe that Jesus was God. They did not believe Jesus was divine. I wasn't shocked because I knew many of the teachers who were in that school. The American Catholic bishops in the late 1990s decided they were going to test all the doctrinal textbooks being used in their schools. And they learned that 90% of them had doctrinal defects and did not conform to the Catechism of the Catholic Church. Many people knew this 2 decades before the American bishops went ahead and did their testing. Those who bear the responsibility for Catholic teaching but fail to teach the faith either are themselves ignorant of it or, frankly, they don't believe it. The resurrection of Jesus is such an extraordinary event, it changes our entire understanding of life. The Eucharist is such an extraordinary sacrament that it changes people's lives. That if you don't teach these with clarity and enthusiasm, it means you're ignorant or you don't believe them. In some cases, we actually know we have Catholic teachers who teach against them. The new evangelization is changing this. The laity are going to get Catholic teaching one way or the other, thanks to the Catechism and the Eucharist. But if the bishops of Ireland or America continue to tolerate teachers who either are ignorant of the faith, don't believe the faith, or teach against the faith, then let me offer a prediction. At least American Catholicism is in irreversible decline. On the other hand, paraphrasing St. Paul, how can they believe if they have not heard of Christ? How can they call on Christ if they have not been taught who he is? And how can they believe if they aren't taught? That is the responsibility of this next generation of Catholic teachers. Believe the faith and teach the faith, and get rid of those people who don't believe it. I'm Al Kresta. Let's talk about this. Go below. I'd love to read your comments, especially those of you who have a heart for Ireland.